Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I'm going to be doing a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers, also for empaths, also for people who don't identify with anything, but you find yourself here on my channel, not knowing why. Your soul probably brought you here. Your soul probably brought you here. All right. So there is an intense energy that is wafting around. Okay. I'm not too sure what this energy is trying to do. I'm not too sure who it comes from, but it's definitely something that's present right now and it's continuing to increase. It might be energies like galactic type energies. It might be oh, shit. I'm getting this feel and kind of like this message of how for some this might be an energy that's bringing a lot of like activation towards contracts and connections that were done on a soul level. I heard closure. That's interesting. I heard closure, but I see doorways opening. So I'm wondering if our lack of willingness to process things fucking shit. A lot of things that we are trying to avoid are the very things that are closing off pathways, energetic pathways that are necessary to get to a higher level of knowing and understanding within yourself and your journey. So you got to clear that up. You really, really do. You have to allow yourself to face the very things that need to be faced. Okay. No more fear, no more avoidance. Just like face things head on. Oh, I already pulled from this stuff. Just face it head on and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. Okay. So let's see. All right. And then one more deck after this and I'll be ready. I'm feeling good. I half my truffle bar and I'm feeling happy. This is how you make a girl like me happy. You make me a latte. Oh shit, I just melted my chocolate. And then you give me a chocolate bar. That's how you do it. I'm a happy girl right now. I'm a very happy girl right now. Let me move my chocolate because it's being melted by my coffee. Good Lord. All right. Ooh, melting, merger, melting into each other. That's part of what this merger is. It's a merger. Ah, okay. Let's do this. Let's just do this. 3, 4, 5. Chocolate truffles. Yes, Kathy. Oh my God, my hair is just irritating me. Okay. Sorry that I just hissed at you guys. Let me just do this, okay? All right. So here goes. Card number 43, inner life. Your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. This is kind of a reminder that we've been allowing a lot of poisonous weeds to grow, okay? If if you're very good at knowing how to use those poisonous weeds to heal, because really some poisonous weeds can be used to help heal certain things. But unless you've entered into a phase of your journey or a part of your journey where you are now a a master herbalist, I really would just think that you probably need to get rid of those weeds. Uh-huh. Unless you know how to use it to transmute whatever you're struggling through, whatever energetic or spiritual wounds you are trying to heal, it's best to just get rid of it, okay? You need to begin cultivating your garden. It's this sense that We've allowed too much of unnecessary harmful things into our garden, our emotional and mental garden, and it's taking up too much room, first off. Secondly, it's choking out the new growth. And if you continue to choke out the new growth, the only thing you'll have space for after a certain period will be the toxic things. I mean, unless you that's all you want to do is deal with toxicity, then maybe it's best that you remove the toxic things. They're going to continue to not just go through their growth process, they also plant new seeds. You know, if you don't notice how plant cycles, life cycles work, first seeds get blown onto your property and then they grow and then they create more seeds to create even more weeds. So the same thing applies to like toxicity in your life. The more you allow toxic people and toxic circumstance to remain, the more toxicity will draw to you. And unless that's what you want for your life, which if you do, that's your choice. That's your choice. I'm not going to tell you not to, but you're probably going to have a very unsavory experience. And at that point, you can't blame anyone else. You can't blame anyone else. You can't say, oh, but this person keeps using me. This person did that to me. So long as you continue to allow yourself to be accessible to people who do those types of behaviors, you are volunteering to have those behaviors done unto you. This is not about blame. This is not about victim blaming, victim shaming. This is about recognizing you're not a victim. After a certain point, if you continue to stay, you are a willing participant. You went from victim to willing participant. Oh, but they won't let. Oh, well, I mean, were they ever going to give you permission when you've been such a lovely volunteer for them to take their frustrations and whatever else out on? Of course they're not gonna be like, oh well, I've abused you enough, you can take a break. No. That's not how it works. If you're easy to abuse, they're gonna continue to choose to abuse you, because really the people who are abusers are weak people. It's just what I see. They're the ones who tend to be the most internally weak, the ones who have to use other people's suffering to give them a sense of power. That comes from a place of severe, severe weakness, where you need an external show of power through domination of someone else. You feel really, really small. That's why you do that to other people. I've seen this time and time and time again. So really, people who feel small aren't going to suddenly feel empowered and tell you like, "Oh no, I've abused you enough. Let me find someone else." Nope. Nope, 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 nope. If you make it easy, they will continue to go to you to satisfy this need. Card number 14, wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. Yeah, yeah. If you think that you're staying because you're helping, there's a difference between helping and enabling. Figure out which one you're actually doing. Okay. Figure out, are you helping or are you enabling? Are you the very thing that makes it possible for them to continue to believe they are weak? They cannot do this. They cannot blah, blah, blah. You know, it's also not an unheard of thing for me to witness. There is like ugliness within a relationship. And when one of them decides, the one that's obviously being hurt, decides to walk away and move on with their lives, sometimes the other person will stop those abusive behaviors because now there's no one who will allow that. So now because they have a sense of weakness and no one's volunteering, now they can't continue that type of behavior. So, all right. Card number 2, radical curiosity, seeing as if for the first time every time. Do not program your life to be this thing of just repeating cycles over and over. The whole point of you going through what you go through is to help you learn what it is. And when you learn what it is, you begin to understand what the flags are that tells you you're approaching this event again. If you're not going to address the event, if you're not going to address your perception of what happened, what was done to you, you stand a very real probability, elevated probability at that, of repeating it again. If you know that certain types of behavioral patterns lead to certain types of abusive relationships, and you begin to see those patterns playing out, you know where this is going. You're not saving that person. You're not going to make them feel better. You're not going to make them feel stronger. Your presence is probably going to empower their sense of self destruction. And it's at that point you need to love them in a way where you're not going to continue to empower it by being present. Okay. So I don't know who needs to hear this. That's a pretty specific type of message. I don't feel like a lot of people are in that type of situation. Um, but that's very interesting. It's very, very interesting that it's such a focused portion of the reading just on that. So let's see. Home, earth. Oh, that's such a deep, deep message. I was live on Facebook right before I came live here, and I had shared this little bit. Hold on. I found this while I was looking at spiritual stuff, and it says souls tend to go back to who feels like home. And we have this way of romanticizing this concept like, oh, I'm home to him. Oh, he feels like I'm home. But here's the thing, if the home that he grew up in was abusive, let that sink in. You feel like home to him. Abuse was enabled in his home. Does that mean you are reminding him of toxic cycles that he witnessed adults playing out in front of him as a child, and you feel like home? You are someone who can make this a reality for him, where he can play out these cycles that he learned in childhood over and over and over as an adult. What type of home does this person come from? And this is not about shaming someone who comes from a home of violence, a home where there was a lot of domestic strife, abusive behaviors. This is about you being empowered to recognize, what is it that I'm agreeing to? What is it that I'm agreeing to? What type of home do they recognize within me? Because a lot of us, empaths and Pisceans, we have a tendency to romanticize something that is absolutely not romantic. It's not romantic. It's just not. You feel like home to me. Well, what kind of home did you live in? I want to know what it is I'm bringing out of you. What was your childhood like? Was it this thing of one parent dominating the other one just had to stay quiet, just had to take it. If you say something, it's going to get worse. So you're not allowed to say anything. You just need to let me dominate. And now I'm recognizing, like, for the people who have told me in the past, like, I feel like home to them. Well, what the fuck kind of home are you referencing here? Do you feel like you can continue old cycles that you watched your parents go through? Because I'm not willing to do that with you, you know? I'm not willing to do that with you. Well, see, that's the thing. You wrote, I grew up hating home. I never want to know that home again, ever. But a lot of people don't recognize they're looking for that home outside of themselves. That's where they live within themselves. They never moved out of that home. They internalized that external home as a child. It became internal, and that's where their inner child lives. And now their inner child lives there. That inner child needs that metaphorical mother and father who used to do this in front of them. So, because you are now your own parent, the parent of your inner child, you're looking for a partner who can reestablish that type of dynamic with you. A lot of people don't recognize they're doing these things. A lot of people don't recognize that. Like, I will not do that with you. I don't think so. I don't think so. Mm-mm, mm-mm. The patterns that I recognized from childhood were ugly. And I refuse to repeat that with someone else because I feel like if I'm aware of it, that obligates me to create a different type of healthier, more loving, more peaceful dynamic that then obligates me because I'm aware. When you're not yet aware, I mean, we can't really expect you to change something you're not aware of, right? Right. So, because you're aware of what that home is like, you're now obligated to not recreate that home again for a future generation to live through. So, card number 23, cleansing storms. It's time to allow yourself to cleanse your life and your heart of all of this toxicity. What do storms do? They have the power to terraform the landscape of your mind, washing away all of that toxicity, eroding away those muddy walls. You created all of these walls as a fort around yourself. They're not constructed of brick, they're constructed of mud. You've been immersed in a muddy environment, and it's like this thought and feeling of you felt like you needed to protect yourself because you were in a murky environment, muddy, and you allowed your environment to become depleted. That water's all gone. All that's left is the mud walls. And now it's time for the storms to come, to wash away the mud walls, create more energetic flow, and allow you to return to the state of being a lotus. Lotus thrives in that murky, muddy water, and it's still beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It has a lot of metaphysical properties, but so long as the lotus does not appreciate, value, or even want to acknowledge the beauty of what it is in its organic state, um, then you as a lotus will continue to build your walls out of mud, continue to drain your pond, and continue to struggle through life. You don't have to struggle. That's not a requirement. You will experience pain at some point. That's not something you can avoid. Pain is a part of your growing. The type of pain, the cause of pain, the extent of that pain, um, allowing that pain to become struggle, that's not necessary. That's absolutely not necessary. Nope. That's something you choose, though. Okay. Creation, water. Ooh. So we go back to that whole message of water, and now you're going from a storm that's cleansing to water that's creating, because really water is necessary to sustain life. It is. Now, are you sustaining your life, or are you giving your energy completely away? For some of you, are you giving your energy away to the people in your life? And then there's a secondary question. Are you giving away your energy to someone who's not even there? Ooh, that's a wow. Are you giving your energy away to someone who is not even there? They're not even present in your life. They walked away from you some time back. They walked away or you walked away, but they're not even there, yet you continue to give your energy to that. Why? Is it because you hope they return? I don't know. I don't know. Card number 3, inspiration. Allow yourself to become inspired by the events of your life. Okay. These events can cause sweetness or they can cause you to be stung. Regardless, they're a part of your blooming cycle, they're a part of you and your process. Excuse me. This process that you're taking to raise your awareness of your consciousness in your life. It is important to allow the bees to do what they need to do, which is enter that period and commingle that period with other periods. That period being like the pollen. commingling these things and allowing it to be turned into something sweet. And how do we do that? By recognizing how events from our earlier life often are the root causations of what's being triggered in our current life. So, really, are you upset because someone hurt you, or are you being triggered to remember a part of your history from earlier in this life so that you can begin healing that part of you? Oh, but Emmy, that's like, that's when I was a kid. It doesn't matter now. It absolutely fucking matters now. What happened to you as a kid matters for the rest of your life. What happened to you as a child is what formed you into who you are right now, who you are today, why you are drawn to the types of people you are drawn to, why you react and respond the way you do. Even your level of intelligence was greatly determined by the environment you lived in as a child. Your childhood is beyond important. And the processing of that childhood is what will free you into a healthy, productive, balanced adulthood. So many of us, so many adults still living as that imprisoned, fractured child, too afraid to go back to the place where they were imprisoned to begin with because, well, you're not a child anymore. Oh, that's so childish. Children are more connected to divinity than adults. If we're really going to talk on things, children are so much more connected to divinity than full grown adults. I recognize more potent levels of divinity in a child than I do in a guru, one that's been elevated and celebrated the world over. I see more divinity in the child. Let that really sink in. Okay. Uh, that fear has no basis. If you're asking my opinion, that fear has no basis. Personally, I'm hanging on to him because I'm afraid I cut him out too rashly, afraid I made a mistake even though he sucked my energy. So what I read, what I heard myself saying as I read it, he abused me, but it's my fault for not staying long enough to see if maybe he would change. Maybe I could fix him. Maybe I could make him whole. I was the key to his healing, and I gave up on my abuser. That pain is heaven sent. Card number 33. Heaven sent. Heaven sent. That pain is heaven sent. We never give up too early, too soon. We give up when it's time. Whether we understand it or not, we give up. And sometimes we have to recognize it's not even us giving up, it's us finally allowing ourselves to see the truth. The fact is, their behaviors have been pushing us away, away, away. They did not want us there. They did not want us to heal their pain. They wanted us to join them there. And when we refused, they turned their pain and showed it to us, projected it at us, and then after a while, we couldn't take it anymore. So we walked away, blaming ourselves, when in reality, we were evicted out of their heart a while ago. Hmm. Did you walk away or were you evicted? There's a huge difference. Because when you ran out of energy and could no longer pay to exist in that painful place, that dungeon of a life, did you walk away or were you evicted? And this is not to hurt your feelings. This is to hold you accountable for the pain you're continuing to put yourself in because your perception is still calibrated to receive the projected pain from your abuser. These are things to really consider. These are things to really, really consider because the truth of the matter is this: I'm a stranger to you. I am. I don't know the details of your life. And even if I did, I'm not there as these details take place. Who the fuck am I to judge you and condemn you? What do my words even really mean? They're just opinions of a person who has no idea of you in your life. Opinions. That's all they are, opinions. So, why does the opinions of others affect you in the way that it does? Maybe because there's some sort of resonance. Maybe I'm touching on topics that are very difficult for you to look at within yourself by yourself. That doesn't make you weak. It just makes you resistant to your own personal healing. Doesn't make you a bad person. It just means you need to hear this so you can begin making decisions that will allow for your healing to occur. That's all it means. That's all it means. It's time for you to see the true you. There's no tea to spill. It's all the way over there. All of that black water that people are like, oh no, that water's disgusting because it's not clear. It's not like tropical beaches and clear and like beautiful blue. Yeah, but you know what? You can't see your reflection in that beautiful tropical beach. You can't. And if you think that's somehow superior, when you look in that water, do you realize there's a distortion that occurs? You cannot tell how deep that water is just by looking from the surface. Let that sink in. So, in this instance, when it comes to seeing yourself, seeing the truth of who you are, what you're here for, the life that you've lived, the events that you've survived, I'd say that dark water is actually more appropriate for you because it's in that really, really dark, dark water that you can see your reflection. You can see the truth of the person you've become. And I don't say that as you need to see you become a bad person. I say that as, hey, I see you're still bleeding out in certain places. You might want to look in the water and see where you're bleeding from so that you can begin taking care of those wounds. You deserve to heal. You deserve to heal. You deserve to have someone be on your side and not tear you down and just be honest with you. Honest in that, hey, it's not your fault. Things kind of just happen the way they happen to help you learn something. Stop trying to take ownership of an event that was co created. I'm sorry, but you're not that powerful that you are the only reason that situation got fucked up. You're just not that powerful. I know that for me as well. I'm not that powerful. If there's a breakdown in a connection with someone, both of us did that. Both of us contributed to that. Both of us walked away from that. So why do I just blame myself? And it's at that point you begin this process of recognizing, oh, oh, so it wasn't just my fault. We both walked away. We both gave up. We both allowed our own insecurity, previous earlier life traumas to trigger us and cause us to project this out onto someone else. Okay, I get it now. I get it now. Card number 35, conscious connections. Are you consciously connected to the person you claim to love? If they claim to love you, do they understand what process you're in? Do they have any idea that you're even in a process? If there is a disconnect, I don't know that that's the healthiest place for you to be. Okay. If there is a disconnect, it might be to show you what's going on within you. It might be to help you recognize that you've disconnected your awareness from yourself. You've begun living completely outside of you. You can't just completely live outside of yourself. You need to find this happy balance where, yes, you are a part, an active part in your external environment, but also more importantly, yes, you are fully present within yourself. Yes, the external environment triggers the rising of certain aspects of parts of you that maybe you would prefer to forget, to leave behind. But these are the very parts that need to be addressed now. Because in addressing these parts, another set of shackles is removed off of you. That's the problem. We don't recognize all these things that we went through in childhood. They've shackled us to that moment in our early life. And until you face it head on, you're not going to find where that shackle was placed. You're not going to find the key, and you're not going to unchain yourself from that event. You will carry it with you for the rest of your life. And unless that's the kind of life you want to live, you need to begin finding the courage or creating the courage to face events in your life, especially when you begin to recognize this event is bringing me back to this part of my childhood. That's what this energy is about. I get it now. That's what this energy is about. So I think that's why certain connections need to circle their way back around, because maybe that individual, that connection, maybe it ended a while ago, maybe it just ended, maybe it's someone who you haven't even met yet, but they do exist. They're finding their way to you. They're going to trigger parts of your childhood, earlier life that no one else could trigger, probably because they lived through it too. And I'm wondering if this for some will occur through conversation. It can create healing. Simple conversation with someone who's lived through a similar type of experience, that can create healing within you. Or it could be that they will trigger this inadvertently, maybe intentionally. Who knows? That they'll trigger these things about you. They'll trigger these things inside you. Um, so a twin ray is such a perfect mirror, not only of your power or your strength, but of all your toxicity. They're a perfect mirror for that. So that might be what's coming back. If you don't know who that is in your life, it might be someone you haven't met yet. Okay. Um, yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Card number 38, restore and replenish. Whew. I think all of that is going to lead you to that point. Restore and replenish. There's going to be some major stuff coming in. This major stuff coming in, this is a very deeply rooted connectivity. That deeply rooted connectivity can take you to a place within your journey that will really, really eviscerate you. Mm, lovely. Lovely. I mean, that's part of the reason why the whole topic of that type of connectivity just irks the absolute shit out of me. Is because you can't hide anything from that type of that depth of connectivity. The person doesn't even have to try. Their presence causes internal tsunamis to dredge from the depths of your heart's oceans. The very monsters that you hope, pray, stay hidden the rest of your life. Mhm. Have you ever tried to control a tsunami and predict it? All you can really do is kind of make these assumptions as to where the water, the fallout of this is headed. And hopefully, there will be time to at least reach higher ground. Um, mm. If you can reach higher ground within yourself, within your thoughts, um, you might have minimal struggle, pain, damage. Um, if you can't reach those higher levels of consciousness, there's a very real potentiality you'll find aspects of yourself that are resistant to your growth and ascension being drowned by these tsunami waters of change. Um, be prepared for a metaphorical death. Metaphorical, okay, spiritual. Be prepared for that. Prepared, but not anticipating. You can't live your life in anticipation. waiting for worst case scenario to occur. Not all twin connections will create that. They will all be tsunami moments. Shit. They will all be tsunami moments. Okay, I stand corrected. But some of us are surfers. Some of us can view this from a spiritual mountaintop. Some of us need to be ground level, ready with our surfboard. I don't know which one you are. I don't know which one you are, but there is an energy coming back to you. This energy will be what causes that internal tectonic shifting. Expect your parts, which are represented by tectonic plates, regions within yourself, within your consciousness, within your awareness of that consciousness, is going to shift. This is you now. This is your future self. It's fighting each other, fighting each other. Something has to give. And it's in that tectonic shifting that comes the potentiality for a tsunami type event. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest. Our people are, cowabungaing and surfing, and I don't know how to swim. Y'all know how to spiritually swim? I don't. I don't even like water. This sucks. I don't even like water. I don't know how to swim. Oh my god. I didn't look at this deck at all. This is everything that I was talking about. All right. She of the Lotus. She of the Lotus. Even in that moment of recognition of my lacking in ability, lacking in perception, lacking in whatever, lacking in confidence of my willingness and ableness to be able to swim through the events of my life, I'm a lotus. I don't need to fucking swim. Not only am I a lotus, I am a deep sea fish. I will not drown. Regardless of how murky that water is, deep, 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 deep within my heart, I am a lotus fish. I will not just survive, but I will thrive. And it's in that chaotic energy where I find my most intense, most potent internal peace. I'm peaceful in my chaos. A lot of Pisceans are peaceful in their chaos. People accuse you of being messy and like, well, go organize your shit in your own home then. Why do you keep knocking on my fucking door? It's messy up in here. If you are knocking on my door to organize my things, knock on someone else's door. I like my chaos. I do. I like my chaos. It's where I feel most at home. And wherever I feel at home is where I feel powerful. I have long since lost my shame of the chaos of my heart and my mind. I used to participate in this belief that I should be ashamed if things are not organized. If I have visitors come over, everything has to be perfect and sterile so that I can be, labeled as a good person, a good wife, a good mother, a good whatever. And I really, the fact of the matter is 84% at 1010. 8 being the number of reunification, 4 being the number of the self, 1010 being the number of a recognition that a journey must take place at some point. Card number 43, 4 being the number of the self, 3 being a number of solid foundation from which to rebuild and reunify the self. 4 plus 3, 7. The message is complete. Be who you are. No one needs to organize me. I don't need to impress anybody. If you can't appreciate the magic of my chaos, I won't hold it against you, but you cannot stay. You cannot stay if your intention is to reorganize a person that I am so that I can better fit whatever box you're trying to put me in. I don't care if the box is golden. I don't care if it's a filigree gold box that will look gorgeous against my skin. Like, fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. For real. Okay. I don't like boxes no matter how ornate. No, I don't need your approval so much that I'm willing to imprison myself in your perception of who you want and need me to be. I'm sorry, but I don't value you more than I value my own spiritual, emotional, mental needs. And you need to enter into a place where you need to value yourself. You need to understand that it's okay for you to value yourself more, that your needs are more of your priority than someone else's requests, demands, expectations. Like, really, though, it's not selfish for me to put myself in a place where, you know what? My needs are my priority, not yours, because your needs are your priority. I'm not your priority. You're not my priority. It's a beautiful thing when we can coexist and find this common ground where we can help each other. But if you think I'm going to martyr myself for you, there's just not enough chocolate in this world. There is just not enough chocolate in this world for me to continue to lie to myself and cover up my disgust, my nausea by consuming more chocolate. There's not enough. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I finally recognize I should be more important to myself than you are to me. You shouldn't be more important to me than I am to myself because I am my own savior. And there's nothing that I can do for you that you can't do for yourself. So, in playing into your distorted beliefs, I'm actually empowering your sense of disempowerment. It's not my job to empower that toxicity within you. That is not my job. You can do that all on your own. This sense of you are disempowered, and so now other people are obligated to go out of their way to create opportunity, comfort for you. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot buy into this program with my sacred energy because this program continues to enslave you, cause you to participate in other programs that further enslave you. No, no. My energy is strictly for empowerment, not empowerment of your toxicity to further disempower you. No, I have an obligation to use my energy responsibly. As empaths, as Pisceans, your only obligation is to use your energy, your focus, and your unconditional, deep, deep, ever present love in such a way that empowers other people, not empowers their toxicity, not enables their sense of disempowerment. No, because you can love and support in such a way that pushes through barriers that blocks manifestation. And if you're going to be pushing through the barriers that their soul created to prevent the continued toxicity, you are harming more than you are helping. I would rather you fall on your ass for a few minutes and hate me and end up being able to recognize you can actually walk. You no longer need to be carried. You don't have to be dragged. You don't have to lose your sense of dignity. You can walk this life with your head held high, proud and loving who you are. And if it's going to take you blaming me to find your strength, blame me, hate me. That's fine. All I need to know and take comfort in is the fact that I somehow contributed to that moment where you recognize that self realization, self actualization, self mobilization. I was a part of that. And although that moment empowered you to the point where you walked away from me, boo, you're walking. You thought you had no legs, but you're walking. I'm honored to be a part of that process, even if it means you walking away. I'm honored, truly honored. So, card number 12, water, the overflow. Not only do you need to allow the storms, you have to allow that water to overflow. Part of your purpose is to be a vessel from which energies that this world has not had in generations upon generations before Jesus ever came. This energy has not been here for so long. And as empaths and Pisceans, especially as Melchizedek Cloister, those of us who are not fallen Blu-rays, those of us who come from the seraphim who did not fall. Yes, yes, seraphim fell as well. Founders fell as well. I know quite a few people who I long time ago identified, oh my God, you're part of the founders family. Yeah, half that family fell. Oh my God, you're a seraphim. Yeah, half that family fell too. Yeah, yeah. That's why not all dragons are benevolent. Dragons are the thought form of Andarans, the elder dragons, who are the first thought emanations of the seraphim. And depending on who parented that Andaran, that greatly determines if you're a black hearted dragon or not. And that black heart, it's not just shadow, that's malignancy. What do you identify as? Why do you identify as that? How has that identification helped you in this sense of reunifying your parts, accepting yourself, realizing things, healing things within yourself, not other people? What has it done for you? Has it caused you to cling onto this hope that maybe something that will help define me? You set your own definition of who you are, though. That's the thing. That's why I have such a huge problem with people needing to be identified as this or that. Just subject matter irks me. It's not the people asking that irks me, it's the subject matter. Because really, why would you irk me if you don't know any better? I can't hold that against you if you don't know, right? So people ask me, well, what am I? What level? What color? What this? What tribe? What does it matter? What does it matter? When you need to know that information, it will come forward. And the only reason you would need to know that information is to help you better understand why you react and respond the way you do, what your purpose might potentially be in this life, what type of path you might have to travel. And the thing is this, people are so quick to want to be able to claim Blu-ray. And when they say Blu-ray, they're thinking the elevated cloister kind. Do you understand the type of suffering that you have to live through your entire life to prepare for that purpose? hmm The type of suffering, because you choose that, not choose that as a human being, but choose it as a soul, where every event in your life, every lesson will be played out in the worst case scenario possible, with you not having any idea that there are any other options of how this can play out. Always, 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 worst case scenario is how you learn. It's like that saying. I don't know if it's a saying. It's my saying if it's not. Everyone wants to be that finished diamond, but no one's willing to get cut and polished. Mm. Because really, a raw diamond, if you polish it, it's just going to be, like a polished clump. It's just, yeah. Diamonds don't grow the way you see them in jewelry stores. They have to be cut over and over and over and over. Precision cuts over and over and over and over. Not only do they have to first go through tremendous amounts of pressure, 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 hidden away, undervalued. No one really cares about the diamond until after it's cut, 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 cut. And after it's cut, it's rubbed, 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 rubbed to the point where the person, the thing that it used to be is no longer what it is now. Are you willing to go through that? Someone rubs you wrong one time. Oh my God, they rubbed me wrong. Well, motherfucker, what if they're part of the process of turning you into a polished diamond? Oh, I don't like you because you cut me. Okay, well, you wanted to be a diamond, didn't you? Let's see. Hold on. How many cuts? Okay. According to Diamond Cutters International's foremost diamond expert, Fred, round, brilliant, marquise, oval, cushion, heart, parrot, emerald shaped diamonds all feature 58 facets. There are, however, shapes that do not conform to the 58 facet brilliant cut. Ooh, shit. That's a message. Since a diamond is too hard to be cut by many of the materials often used to make saws, jewelers traditionally cut the stones with a saw whose blade is made of diamonds. Ah, so someone is toxic and they cut you. That is your fellow diamond cutting you. Mm, like cuts like. We spend our lives looking for the very people who are reflections of aspects of ourselves, whether recognized or not. And they serve a purpose in our life. They cut and cut and cut until we become the very thing we're seeking to become. And instead of recognizing the process and appreciating for what it is, we then take the rest of our lives fixating on the tools that were used by soul, placed into our own hands. Because really, who's doing the cutting? The saw cannot cut you on its own. You are your own jeweler. It's your very soul that's cutting away the parts of you that resist, the parts of you that prevent your brilliance from coming out. So, really, who should you be mad at? Should you even be mad? Do you need to be angry? I mean, there's a difference between needing to be angry and just feeling angry. One is a question, the other is a state of being. And I bring this up because at no point is there any intent from me personally to shame you for feeling whatever you feel. There's a difference between asking if you need to be angry and you recognizing you are angry. If you're angry, why are you angry? You feel that way for a reason. Okay, so most of us will be like, well, because this person that I was in a relationship with and it ended like 2 years ago, a year ago, last week, I'm angry because of them. Okay, so now you see the surface level. Let's go a little bit deeper. That person that made you angry, who do they remind you of from your childhood? Who did those things to you? Who made you feel bad in that way? Because that's often what happens. We find the very people from our childhood we find their same energy in others. And then we spend the rest of our time with that person who is a representative of an aspect, a period of our childhood, and we try and heal them. No, honey, what you need to heal is that part of your inner child. Save that energy for the child. It was never about healing the adult. That's where it is. That's where it is. That is a child within you screaming, begging that you notice. Please notice I'm bleeding. So instead of diving deep within, we externalize it and we look for people to heal who are hurting in that way. You don't need to heal other people. A true healer simply empowers the person to begin the process of their self healing. That's what a true healer does. Our concept and definition of a healer really is nothing more than an energetic facilitator, where your disbelief in yourself is suspended due to the gravity of your belief in me. Your faith and trust in me causes your lack of faith and trust in yourself to be suspended. I am not healing you. I am distracting you from your fear. And you are healing yourself. You are giving me permission to act on your behalf. You're your own healer. So, Earth Star Chakra initiation. You're being initiated into a higher level of awareness, awareness of your purpose, awareness of your place, awareness of your path and your process. Allow yourself to expand the awareness. The child is pissed. His rage is his strength some days. There's power in that anger. I used to be ashamed that I'm an angry person. I have no shame now. No. I'm going to always have that anger. It's not really something that I need to heal and get rid of. That anger serves as a fuel for my rise. It helps fuel my rebelliousness towards the very people, circumstance, and programs that tell me I have to conform. Fuck that shit. I'm not conforming to shit. Why, Emmie? Why are you just rebellious for no reason? I'm rebelling against the very thing that tells me I'm not sacred enough to exist unmolested by society's perceptions. You cannot force me into a box and not expect me to fight tooth and nail to get out of it. You cannot shame me for recognizing the gravity of my divinity. No, you will not induce so much fear of me burning in hell. Motherfucker, I made a flame. Ain't nothing burning aside from my passionate divinity. Nothing's gonna burn. I'm not afraid of fire. I am a sacred flame that comes from divinity itself. I will not fit in your box, and you will not shame me for burning the very box you shoved me into. If you didn't want the box to burn, you shouldn't have put a fucking fire in there. And then the world tells you, oh my God, what is your problem? Why are you like this? Because this is how God created me to be. You telling me you, as a peasant human, knows more than God? And I'm not talking about the demiurge that tells you you're going to burn in hell if you worship any other gods before him, meaning there's an acknowledgement that he is not omnipotent. There's other things that exist. If God from the Bible, Old Testament, that motherfucker's fucking angry. I mean, he's really angry. He's jealous, insecure, angry. He's telling motherfuckers, you better worship me and only me. Why? We thought you were the only one that existed. What do you mean? No other gods before? There's other gods? Did y'all notice that? Yeah. There's other gods? Oh shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Other gods that the one true God is worried you'll know about. I'm just saying. His inner child is shackled to a mountain, the base of a mountain. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly what mountain. Uh, hold on. Let's see. Um okay, where were you shackled? Where was it? It was over, hold on. Dudale in the desert of Dudiel. Far down a great chasm, the fallen who was chained upside down and he was shackled to the rocks. I'm just saying, y'all. Y'all, it's just too fucking much. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. He was just so insecure. Like, you can't worship anyone but me. Bitch, we didn't even know there were people outside of you. You said you were the only one. Oh, I mean, disregard that part. Yeah, no, look into the demiurge. Actually, if you really want to know the gravity of what I'm talking about, start looking into the Cathars. Cathar, the Cathars. They are a group of believers. They had their own beliefs that touched into the demiurge, Gnosticism, Gnosis. They were completely eradicated by the church. Why? Because they brought up stuff about the Old Testament. They believed in a demiurge who is actually not the one true God. And then, this very closely related other group from which Jesus learned. Yeshua learned from them. He was baptized by one of them who was his cousin, John the Baptist. He was in Essene. He helped Jesus learn about Essene teachings. Jesus's preachings were Essene, and the church tried to eradicate them too. I'm just saying, look into this. Why is it when something believes certain types of things, um, all of a sudden they're blasphemers and need to be eradicated? Cathar, Cathar, and then the Essenes, Essenes. I asked my not my Catholicism, my theology teacher about this, and she, Garcia, are you going to do this type of thing again today? What? It's a legitimate fucking question. Like, if you send me to the office, my parents are going to have a big problem. I had to tell her. My parents are going to have a big problem because they pay a lot of money for my tuition every month, which pays your salary. I'm asking you a legitimate question. If you don't want to answer it, you could just say you don't want to answer it, but you're not sending me to no fucking principal's office again. I'm not being disruptive. I'm not being disruptive. I want to know. Like, I read something in one of the books in the library. I want to know what they are. That's all I wanted, to know what they are. Card number 35, luminescence. Ooh, lumen. It has to do with light. Um, um, there's something about pregnancy involving lumen. In early pregnancy, the uterine luminal epithelium and the implantation chamber, like the bridegroom chamber. Is that what you're talking about? Um, Lumen. Okay, wait. I hate when you tell me words and then, like, at least tell me how to spell it. Jesus, Mary, Joseph. Um, okay. The SI unit of luminous flux equal to the amount of light emitted per second in a unit solid angle of one. Lumen, light, lumina. Okay, in anatomy, the central cavity of a tubular or other hollow structure in an organism or cell. The stomach empties food into the lumen of the small intestine. Opening, opening, lumen, luminescence. The opening to your essence. What are you talking about? I don't have time for a wild goose chase, dude. You either tell me what you're talking about or drop it. Um, that's intense. Pathways are being opened. Okay. Pathways are being opened, and you have to choose. You have to choose which you will allow to continue to be opened and what you will choose to be closed. 99% at 1037. Ooh, 6345. 6345 is 99. 99, 1037. 9, 10, 3 plus 7 is 10. 9, 9, 10, 10. Divinity giving you information about a journey that's about to begin. So, you have to be very careful what you allow in. Okay. You have to be very, very careful which pathways you allow to be utilized by other people. This is not your soul doing this. Your soul is allowing for the experience to occur and giving you full control of what you will experience, the details of that experience. And this is to help you expand and elevate your awareness in the most efficient manner. Okay. Um, yeah, that's an intense message, dude. Card number 9. 9 is the number of divinity, just so you guys know. The impossible made possible. Love brings the sea into boiling and turns the mountains into a pebble. Love creates infinite openings in the dark sky and shatters the earth with its magnitude. Again, referencing openings. She spins this great earth goddess upon invisible strings amongst a wildly pulsating ballet of life. Stars are born, live, and die all around her. Life moves in constant flux, and still she spins in her great, loving, constant dance. How can this be? All of creation is born from nothing. Out of endless silence and darkness, light emerges. What strange magic is this? The sun heats the solar system and burns with the power to destroy life, yet it's a force by which life is sustained. Surely this makes no sense and cannot be. We dance in the realm of the impossible made possible constantly. We are so engrossed in it, so familiar with it, and yet blind to it, that those constant impossibilities happening in every moment fail to inspire us. Yes, what are your biggest, boldest, most extraordinarily impossible dreams compared to this great impossibility of life itself? They are but tiny seeds in the Creator's masterful hand, being now planted in the heavenly garden. Yes, they are being planted right now. For the moon tells us the time is right, and most tenderly shall they be watched over, nurtured into fullness according to the season. Yes, that growth is assured. The impossible is now made possible. So, this touches into the conversation we had in the beginning, where we were talking about your garden. about seeds being planted and you cultivating that garden within your heart and your mind. We only limit what we believe to be possible by our lack of imagination. The divine has recourse to all that is and all that is yet to be. Is there any limit to the resources of the heavens? No. So then, why has not every impossible dream now been rendered possible? Indeed, manifest in shining glory upon the earth. The human heart knows everything, and vision can manifest according to divine timing and grace. Yet the mind does quake with fear, so much so that it will not listen to the heart at times. That inner child looking for external projections of the traumas that it's endured. Should you offer yourself up to the sacred loving power of the great creator, you might be found to be lacking in accordance with that childlike nightmare. The mind holds itself captive with dark fantasies of that profound rejection and then avoids confronting it directly at all costs. It creates barriers instead, truly nothing more than lines in the sand, yet believed to be forts, or walls of mud that dissolve as soon as the storms of truth and clearing begin to pour. But what strongholds can resist love? It is like water. It seeps into every available space and changes form to survive in every environmental condition. With unfailing intelligence, it creates life. From streams to ice, rainfall, the river and ocean, rain descending into snowflakes, snow capping the peak, expressing itself with beauty and genius. It nestles under the earth and rises to the sky, only to return to the earth again. It will erode blockages and prevail no matter how long that process takes. It carves the earth into shape and form. Where it is, there is life. Such is the adaptable intelligence and persistence of water, just as is the power of love. So now you're guided by this loving power to drop the doubt, shed the incredulity, and open up the mind. Allow your imagination to be inspired as though you're a child in a great garden, hearing the breath of the earth and the wind whipped leaves and the voices of the ancestors in the bird song. The universe wants something to happen for you, something beautiful, something utterly improbable, and something perfect for your path, your own unique divine destiny. Your mind will wonder if it's even possible. People around you may wonder the same thing, but your heart will burn for it to become real, to become more than a fantastic, improbable dream. You'll want it with all of your soul. You may not even be consciously aware as yet what this great desire is, but your heart knows. It holds the secret knowledge and will unveil it when your mind can handle it. When your heart is much more powerful than your mind, you won't unintentionally block the incredible grace of manifestation, seeking to pour into your thirsty soul like the sweetest, purest waters of blessing. Ooh, I liked that. I liked that a lot. So maybe you don't even know what you want, but your heart does. Maybe you don't know how to achieve it, how to reach that place, but your soul does. This is about getting out of your own way. This is about no longer trying to dam up the waters of your life, of your creativity, of your manifestation, allowing that water to flow wherever it needs to flow, because with it, with that spiritual water, that hydroplasmic energy, it carries with it the potential of life, new life, reviving life, whatever it is. Allow it to happen. Allow your soul to take you to the places within yourself in your journey that need that water the most. Oh, okay. So hold up. I just talked about water. Okay. We're going to tap into the twin flame stuff. Hold up. Where is it? It's right here. So allow that water to flow where it's needed the most. Right now, what the world needs the most is the healing of the matriarch, the healing of the divine feminine, the masculine, the balanced masculine energy carries with it the very sacred structure to support the feminine waters. The bees are necessary. The bees are necessary. Allow them to do their job. You have both masculine and feminine within you, regardless of your gender or sexual orientation. You have to allow your life to become balanced once again, not because of someone, not for someone, not in spite of someone, but because this is your birthright. This is what you deserve. This is what you need. And this is what your soul is asking you to do. Stop living in such an external way where everything you decide is nothing more than for someone or in spite of them. That's not going to empower you. It's not. It's not going to empower you. It's going to cause you to further disempower yourself because now you're not making decisions based on your need. You're empowering your own toxicity. So stop. Okay? Stop. So I got to get going. I hope this reading made sense for whoever needed to hear it. Um, if you could please give this video a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated. If you could subscribe, if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I'm also on other social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on Twitter. I'm locked out of Twitter. All of that is Emmie Evolving. Follow me anyways. I never go on there. I don't. I don't. So you guys, thank you so much for sharing this space with me. I do still have, I think I want to say I have less than a handful of oracle cards left on my website. And I want to say I also have less than a handful of chocolates left on my website. Everything is very limited just because that's how I do things. I don't know why I do that. Everything is very limited. It's the best shit you'll ever have. I gotta go.